Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the For Goodness Sake YouTube channel. As always, I'm your host, Mesvin Teklu, and today I want to talk about silence. My question for you, as the title of the video shows, what is the silence in your life trying to tell you? When I reflect about my life, I find a lot of it has been spent trying to fill the void that is kind of made whenever I hear the opportunity of silence creeping in my life. I find myself running from friends to family, from work to phone, from phone to TV, and from TV to sleep a lot. And these activities are not because I'm bad or even because I'm abnormal. I think when I look at most of the people in my life, I see a lot of people who are very used to kind of just getting through the day, and that means doing whatever you need to do to accomplish the tasks that you have in front of you, right? So it means throwing in the earbuds, to knock out some work in front of you on your laptop or on your computer. For means, you know, throwing on some music while you're doing some labor outside, cutting the grass, pulling some weeds, moving, etc. I mean, these are all very common things that I notice from people across a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different works, or at least work styles and sectors. I see that a lot of the very similar things is a lot of people, including myself, running from silence. And I've been working hard to make incorporating silence into my daily routines as a very important part of my life as I'm going forward and as I'm getting older. I overheard some people talking this week, and they were saying when you're young, there's always something to do and there's always something happening. And as you get older, things start to slow down, and you have to figure out what it is that you want to fill the space of the kind of routine silence that comes up as a part of your day to day life. So for me, that means sometimes not plugging in my phone to the car when I get in or I'm on my way to work or school. That means just taking that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just listen to the sounds of, the ride. Now, admittedly, I'm not always into hearing the sounds of horns and, car alarms and all that. So there's some level of chaos and noise that I understand we all want to tune out. But if that's not available for you, and sometimes that is. I mean, sometimes it really is just like a calm morning. It's a peaceful drive, and I hope you guys can hear these sirens that are going off right now outside my apartment as we speak. Sometimes we aren't confronted with silence in the ways we want, and sometimes we are. So building in silence intentionally in our lives can mean not turning the computer on, not turning the TV on, not listening to our phone and the music and whatever else in our car all the time. And sometimes it can mean being intentional about how we start our days or end our days and incorporating silence that way. That could be a 1 minute or a 10 minute or a 30-minute meditation to start your day or right before you go to bed to prepare your body to relax. That can also mean taking time to just go on a walk. No AirPods, no earbuds, no headphones, just enjoying the sights and the smells and the sounds that you see and hear. And or it can mean exercise or a bunch of other things. But I think what's really important about being intentional about interacting with the silence in your life is recognizing that practicing silence, or at least practicing enduring silence or being comfortable in silence, that's a practice, because what's constantly going to happen is you are just going to be disturbed from it immediately. right? I mean, you just have to resign yourself to be comfortable with the fact that the second you decide to take a walk or paint something that you've been wanting to get that creative project out and you've got a vision in your head, so you're going to block out an hour or an afternoon, and you've got all these, just you put your phone on your desk, and whatever, something's going to happen. Your kids are going to knock on the door. What are you doing, daddy, mommy, what's going on? Or your family's going to call you. Hey, I just wanted to call and say hello. And your friends are going to hit you up and see if you want to go for a drink or something like that. Or even if none of that happens, what I think is most common, or at least most disturbing, when you really start incorporating silence and silent practices in your life, what's most disturbing is that you are going to start interrupting yourself. You are going to start hearing yourself bring things up that you don't even know where they came from, right? I mean, you're going to have a thought about how you treated somebody 10 years ago, and that's a part of the practice. You're going to have to figure out how to deal with that thought. Now, are you bringing that? Is that thing coming up from the back of your head to remind you to be nice to people in your day to day life? Right? Like maybe you're getting a little bit too big for your britches, pal. Right? You need to be kind. You need to be respectful, and that thing reminds you of how you just treated that barista, at Starbucks or whatever, last week. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Or is that thing coming up because it's a reminder of how far you've come? 10 years ago, you thought you could never be the kind of guy or gal that you are today. And look at you now. Give yourself credit. Or is something coming up in your head about what you need to do? I mean, you just wanted to paint that beautiful portrait of your dog Lindsay. I don't know why, like Lisa. I don't know why I'm saying ridiculous dog names. These are not great dog names. But you wanted to paint, little Coco or little, little, your cute little Chihuahua or wherever else, you wanted to create or whatever it is you wanted. You wanted to go for a round of golf, and you've just waited that whole week, for that one round in order to just have everything cleared. And then, of course, what happens? Your silly little brain has to bring up that bill that you haven't paid yet. That thing, that car payment or that car repair that you haven't gotten checked out yet. Or the thing in your house that you wanted to do that, the table that's still, a little wobbly and you still don't have that fixed after how many years have you wanted that, you know, to get repaired. That's what's going to happen. There are maybe it's a difficult conversation that you want to have with a loved one that you're reminded, oh man, I still gotta do that. That's still coming. Or maybe it's a thing that is coming down the road, a responsibility, a goal, uh, a test, whatever it might be. You have things that are coming down the road, and your brain just says, man, you might be having fun playing golf, but guess what? There's that thing. Don't forget about that. This is just natural. I mean, this is just going to happen. This is the whole point of practicing your comfort and really your interaction with silence, because that's what it is. It is an interaction. It's not. It's dynamic. It's not a static process. It's not like you just go there and then everything is just like. And for some people, it might feel like that, right? You sit down and depending on who you are, your mind might be racing with thoughts, and you're like, why the heck am I doing this? I have a million things to do. This is a waste of my time. For other people, you might be sitting there and why am I even doing this? And that's okay. That's understandable. That's how a lot of people feel. You're not alone, and that's what makes interacting with silence so difficult. But the beauty in this kind of practice is you eventually start to confront these deeper thoughts and these deeper feelings that as they come up and you learn to file them
faster, a lot more habitually than when they're hitting you along with a flood of a lot of other things, like your favorite song from 2007 or your favorite show that you're binge watching right now. When those thoughts and feelings come up in the middle of you jamming out in the car or blasting music in your ears or podcasts and binge watching that show on episode 10 of the night, what happens is your brain is so divided, it just kind of like pings you, you know? It's like the difference between you getting a notification on your phone and you just seeing it and then it going away versus you taking, ping, take your phone out, you look at it, you say, okay, what am I going to say about this? I don't have to say it right now, but what am I going to say? I'm going to say this and this and this, or I'm going to add this to my calendar when I get home from work, or I'm going to write a list of groceries and that includes these things that, my partner is saying we need, instead of just seeing oh, dad texted me. Oh, you know, sister needs this, brother, boyfriend, etc. You know, you actually kind of go into that message and you say, this is what's happening, this is what I need, and this is what I'm going to do about it. Even if I don't text them back right now, even if I don't send that email right now or add that thing to my calendar right now, I have a plan of action on where that's going to go, where I need to mentally go to respond to that alert. It's the same thing with our emotions and our thoughts. When we're divided, doing multiple things at once, when we're flooding our attention with a lot of other things in our immediate experience, what happens is some kind of thought comes up, and then it's pinging you, and you kind of just see, oh yeah, you pinged me. Okay, I'll get to that later. You kind of snooze that message from your mind and your body, and then it goes away, but it never gets dealt with, and then it snowballs. Either, it comes up again, and it tells you, come on, but you're like, oh man, I still don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. I'll get it later. I'll get it later. I'm gonna finish episode 11 of this binge marathon, and then uh, instead, when the kind of critical juncture, when the rubber meets the road, as they say, you end up not really knowing what to do, or you feel panicked, so you don't do it as well as you can. Uh, or you forget that the deadline's coming up and you miss it, right? So there's a number of things that are happening that aren't as beneficial for you and your well-being. A better option is really for you to just take time every day, even if it's only 1 minute. Give yourself at least 1 minute. Somebody I know told me they sit in bed when they first wake up, they just pray to God. They say, "Thank you, God, I'm alive." That's one thing. And then they just think about their relationships and their life, and they just take a minute to just like enjoy the fact that they're alive and enjoy that and feel that experience. So not everybody needs to sit down crisscross applesauce like a monk and do that every day. For you, maybe a practice where you are silent and fully immersed in your present moment might be painting, as I might have suggested, or writing every day, going on a walk outside. Whatever it takes for you to build a little bit of space in your life where you can take that just for you, not for anybody else, but just for your body and mind to kind of go through its normal process. Let things come up. Think about, do I need to respond to that right now? Do I need to believe that right now? Why is that even coming up right now? That was like 15 years ago. Why is that, Maybe I should let it be. Or this has been 15 years of me putting this thing off. It's time for me to take some action in my life and respond the way that I need to. And then go from there. Take action or build action into the rest of your plan of attack for your week as you go forward. This is what's the difference between This is the power, this is the beauty of intentionally appreciating acts of silence and practices of silence versus being moved along from thing to thing as life kind of just happens, almost in a way where it feels like it's happening to you rather than you being part of life and you having this symbiotic relationship with the people in your life, including the people you don't know yet. So today's quote of the day is by Sarah Dessen. She wrote a book called Just Listen, and it's a quote, it's a common quote. I'm sure it's been said many times before, but we'll give Sarah the credit today. Um, Silence can be so loud. That's our quote of the day, and it's true. So ask yourself, what is it that silence in your life is trying to say to you? As always, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe below. Can't wait to talk next time. Peace and love.